Hi, in this topic we are going to learn how to view and how to understand and resolve resources over allocation. So continuing with the same project file which we have been using, if you see that there are two activities, collect requirements and define scope, in which in the indicators column I have the resource which is over allocated. I can also view it from the resource sheet. So if I go to view and click on resource sheet, I see Jack, the resource which is over allocated. So I'll just go back again to the Gantt chart view. So whenever red icons of this sort comes on your indicator column, you will see that the resource is over allocated. Now we need to understand why the resources are over allocated and how much is the over allocation actually by. So to do that, best view is always go to a usage view. Like Gantt chart is a view, there are various usage views, and one of the usage view is called a resource usage view. So in this view basically you will show all the resources and the tasks assigned to them, and also in a time phase manner you can view that. So I'll just click on this so that the view opens. So if you now see the view, that there are some tasks which are unassigned to any resource, like the review meetings, and then Jack has these 4 tasks assigned to them, engineers have these 3 tasks assigned to them, manuals is assigned to training, travel is assigned to training, developers, testers are assigned to certain activities. So if I talk about Jack, which is shown in red, this is where the over allocation is for this resource, and he's working on these 4 activities. Now to understand where exactly is the over allocation happening, if I just scroll to the right hand side of the view, I can see that the time phase distribution of this total work, like Jack is going to work for 152 hours across all these 4 activities, and this is the time phase distribution of that. So if I see on this particular date, which is this date, there is an over allocation of, it is showing in red, 14.4. Why? Because there are 2 tasks which are happening. One is collect requirements, another is define scope, and total he is allocated for 14.4 hours. This is where the over allocation is. So now this is one way of understanding the over allocation. Another way of identifying and reviewing over allocation is that I can go to various graphical views, and one of them is a resource graph. So again, under view, I'll just go to more views, and then if I just scroll there and I see resource graph, if I apply that, and again Jack, this is where the over allocation is. And this, let us understand this chart. The blue bars shows the allocation, and anything above that is over allocation, because this thin line, black line, is actually his limit, wherein we have defined 100%. So anything above that is an over allocation. So that is where the over allocation has happened. Now why this over allocation has happened, so let us understand it by going again back to resource usage view. If I look at Jack, now these are 2 tasks which are running parallelly, and whenever you assign Jack to this task, the software has assumed that in both the tasks his 100% involvement would be required to perform this activity. This is where over allocation actually happens, because software doesn't know how many hours do you assign to certain activities when they are running parallelly. As a planner, as a scheduler, I need to define that how many hours the resource has to put in on multiple activities he is working in a day. So there are various ways of doing it. So what I can do is that if these, let's say, 2 activities are running parallelly, I can give 50% allocation in both of them. So to do that, what I can do is that I can double click any of the tasks, and the assignment information box will open, and here I see that units is defined as 100%. So here I can define 50%, and same thing I can do it for the next activity. I can define it 50%. So what it means that these 2 tasks are running parallelly, and whenever the resource will be working, he will be putting half on half day each on the respective tasks. So this is one way of resolving the over allocation quickly. Another way of doing it is doing it on the time phased view itself, because here I see that the over allocation is only of 1 day. so I don't have to make the overall allocation as 50-50%. So initially he might put in 8 hours, and the last day of the task, which might be just reviewing the requirements, this is the last day of requirements collection job, so he might not require 8 hours, so he might just require 3 hours to review the overall requirements and then start defining the scope. So what I can do is I can put in here 3 hours, and here I can put in 5 hours. So this way I can do the distribution. So as soon as I have distributed, this editing has come. If you see, the assignment work has been edited. So this way you can do it manually also in the time phase view, or you can do it from the assignment information box also. Now adjusting of assignments is also very important, because based on this hours the total cost will be calculated. So if you want to see this, just the view tab itself, in the table section I'll just change it to cost, and then if you see, this is how the costs are also calculated based on the number of hours the people are putting in. I'll also display cost on the time phased view, so I'll just go to format, and instead of work I'll just select cost here. So you see, this is how cost is also distributed. He's putting in 8 hours day and $100 was his rate, so 800 hours. Here is putting in 3 hours or 300. So resource assignment adjustment is also important, so as to ensure that your costing of the project is appropriate. So this is how you need to do it. So I'll just roll back again back to the normal view. So view tables goes back to work, and on the right hand side cost goes back to work. So this is how you can have different views. So again, there are different views showing it. I can show usage, which is the default view that it shows the entire usage. I can display work and so on. So again, I reiterate, adjusting of assignment is very very important, because that is where over allocation will be removed. That is where you need to understand that cost is also impacted by the number of hours that you are giving it to the resource to work. So resource adjustment is very very important. Not only you need to adjust the resource where there is an over allocation, you need to do the adjustment for overall. So one way of doing it, whenever you are assigning the resources to the task, immediately go to the resource usage view, like as I assigned engineers to all 3 activities. As soon as I assign them, I can define 30% here, so whichever allocation you find is necessary, you have to do that adjustment. This is something which you have to do it on your own. Again, the software is not going to tell you how much assignment you need to give to a resource while assigning a task to him. So this is what you need to do while adjusting a resource assignment. Now in the subsequent topics, what we'll see some brief ways of updating certain tasks. Then we'll also see how do you create various basic reports, how do you create new reports, and also how do you format different views, which might again be required for reporting purposes. So that's it for this topic. Thank you.